trying to convince anyone. I'm just here to block.
I disagree, and it's really suspicious for anyone to claim they don't have an agenda. But regardless,
I don't believe I can change people's minds. I'm just here to blow off steam and get some,
That's irrelevant. Your desire to change people's minds is irrelevant. What I'm saying is, my disdain for your position has nothing to do with the way you're feeling out, the way you want to talk. My problem is that it's stupid and dangerous, and that's how most people seem to be reacting to it.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
The roast of Buttercup!
I don't know, Daniel, do you find sort of this, how did you hear this? I think there's a difference between the way Israelis talk about defend Israel and the way Americans defend Israel. Don't you think there's something a little crude and imbecilic about the way these sort of pro-Israel, rah-rah-rah cheerleaders from America, the way we speak about Israel is
okay, this is the roast of Buttercup.
Where
Mixed so very delicately told her that she's stupid and dangerous.
And they're not realistic.
Oh my God, this is the roast of Buttercup. This is a Buttercup struggle session therapy room. Thanks for being here and good Shabbos.
I don't think you can confuse me. I've been on the app and I've spoke to many Jewish Americans that are actually for Israel. Never ever, to be honest, and I'm completely honest, never have I heard anyone, not on the app, but also like on Twitter or like on social media, Israel can do no wrong. Never heard it. I'm completely honest. I heard you say it a few times actually.
I was heard Norm being like, even the dogs in Israel are amazing. The service is perfect. The trees are greener. You never hear him come wax poetic about Israel?
Is exaggerating.
Norm
has said something along the lines of what Buttercup said earlier, that Israel is the most moral army in the world. Never has an army had fewer casualties in XYZ situation. Some of these things are demonstratively untrue, and some of them are, the most moral army in the world. Okay, is it demonstratively untrue? No, but it's not demonstratively true. It's kind of an exaggeration.
Hold on.
Buttercup is right. Buttercup is right. This rings hollow to a lot of people, and it's not a good form of advocacy.
And also, I want to say that Norm did say.
I'm in the middle of answering your question.
Let me finish. Okay. Norm did say he went into a shelter and none of the dogs barked because even the dogs in Israel are amazing and so polite and perfect. He did say that, I swear.
Okay, so talking about calling Israel the IDF the most moral army in the world, or talking about the casualty numbers, is not the same as Israel is doing no wrong. With one I can actually debate, and with the other I cannot, or like I cannot defend at least, or I don't agree with. And but with the one we can kind of, I don't compare it to, like, to be honest, like in the really don't have dogs in New York. Actually no, like in the streets, like at home, yes.
No, when there's bombing, do the dogs bark? Do they get stressed out like every other dog, or are they special in Israel?
They don't get stressed out, but like the two dogs that I've been doing alarms, like very, I guess they learn, they maybe on the first time, but it's not like every time they see how their family behaves, and they see that everything is in order. It's like, when we hear the ring, he knows that the family goes to this room. So no, they're not panicked because I guess it depends on the family, if the family is starting to shout, and I don't think it's happening anymore, because it's kind of became, Pavlovic response. It started with dogs. This is exactly what a siren is, So, yes, but I don't think it's because it's special. If you kind of look into it, you could understand things. And also, we talk about the moral army in the world. We can just talk about it, but just like to dismiss it is basically like what you are basically blaming him. You're basically blaming for him even saying it is so ridiculous, and you're just dismissing it. I can see as just as ridiculous. Yes, and this you can have a conversation. But in any case, none of them. You just mentioned normal, but she actually said that Jews are having this idea or this emotion or this notion or this. They say it that Israel cannot do wrong, and this sentiment I did not personally feel with all my discussion with many American Jews. This is my point. That's it. So if you exaggerated, I think that
This is what I hear, and you hear something else. So we have a very different takeaway from these rooms.
Yes, but what you hear is not what they're saying. And when you present to me, you want to have a debate.
I present an internal dialogue that's happening in the Jewish community, and they call me a capo. That's shutting down.
Yes, in my world, I'm not having a discussion about your world, okay? If you're saying that this is what they said,
I go into your rooms and I present normal things that are happening in the Israeli discourse, and they call me a capo.
He literally said it. He literally said it. And Buttercup is dismissing it.
Israel cannot. No, but you said he didn't say it.
He said Israel has the most moral army in the world. Okay, and this is the kind of thing. Buttercup is not dismissing it. She's saying it's bad.
No, you're dismissing it.
I'm not dismissing it either. I'm saying it's bad advocacy.
She did not say this.
Hollow. She did indeed say that. Yes.
I'm having a discussion with like a two-head monster. She's saying cannot do no wrong.
Well,
and then you're answering with me about
this is America's world.
But this is a different argument.
And I'm saying it rings hollow. It's bad advocacy.
Jason, can you wait? I cannot have two conversations at the same time. When I'm answering Buttercup, you are answering me about a different conversation. With Buttercup, the conversation is about Israel cannot do wrong. And you're answering me as if I'm answering to the most moral army in the world. You need to choose, like, what are we talking about? Her claim is not your claim. It's not the same conversation.
She made a range of points.
So anyway. She didn't say any of it. She
Substance. Move on.
It's really hard because
you feel so you're good at multitasking. Try to talk to both of us.
Come on. You asked
it's not a chaotic room. There's like two people in here. Just respond to me and then to him, okay? Start with me.
There was a question at the beginning, and I already forgot it. Like,
it was whether or not Israel can do no wrong, or whether or not Israel has...
No. I think what I said, I'll repeat it. I think
this I remember.
In your rooms, I try to present arguments. No, in the room. In the rooms.
This is my room right now.
No, I associate you with Bibi Kapara and Harry and Norm and all those folks.
In your world, I understand. I always need to understand it when you're talking about reality.
Right now we're talking about Clubhouse and the effective dialogue, right? Where I walk into the Bibi Kapara houses, which you're obviously in this corner most of the time, pretty much all the time, with Harry, with Norm.
I need to stop you, okay? There is one Jewish room usually, okay? We used to have back then, it was with the mayor at Make the Weather Great Again. It's no longer there. There was the times that there was like Jeff and like it's not like you're there, okay? This is what we have, okay? This is what we have, one. And you see also that many times when you open a room, a lot of people shift to you. We're not like it's like it's Clubhouse. It's not like in many rooms, like two rooms, maybe one. Come on, stop making a big story over nothing.
The Jewish room is clothing optional coffee.
They say, Daniel.
That's what the Jewish room is, clothing optional coffee.
Okay.
This is another one, yes, this is more like a casual, kind of like a more friendly. This is basically like this is more like friendly group, okay? So people there are friends, they're hanging out as friends. Yes, this is clothing optional.
No, it's not just
Daniel, I
really... Because in all your life, right? Jews and non-Jews.
God, you guys, it's like Nuremberg trials up here.
Listen, Daniel.
Natural law commands following orders is no defense.
Exaggerating in order to kind of make like weird claims.
No, Daniel. I came on here to have a dialogue with my people. Okay, I know you think I'm interested in just engaging within your room. I came here specifically because I want to talk to my people. I don't get to talk to a lot of Jews about this. It's not a topic I could talk about in polite company where I live, so I really enjoy it, and that's why I talk to you guys. But I get so much abuse there that I don't get in the other room. And I'm not saying that you represent all their views, but I'm just saying.
But you know that you're.
But all I'm doing is representing views that you know Israelis have too. You know?
Yes. Listen, but you are on an audio app, okay? And people are using their voice, and you know that you say things in order sometimes to provoke. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, did you get the attention? Okay, you came to Clubhouse like a month ago. You're getting attention. You're opening room. You have confidence. Like, and yes, and you're the victim. But yes, the victim is the cow. Then you see, I don't know how many people are here right now. I mean, come on. How much is this like?
You want to talk to your people? Devin in the chat says he wants to be brought up, and he kind of implying that you don't bring him up. So
because he's annoying, but I'll bring him up if he really wants to.
He's annoying. Like
he's a little annoying.
Devin, no, he's not.
All right, Devin, you want to come up? Where's Devin? All right, come on up, but just make your points.
And just I'm muting with my headphones because every time something is in the app, every time that I mute on the app, it cannot silence it for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
And Daniel, is your PTR making fun of Buttercup?
Yeah, listen, I don't mind that you guys.
It's not making fun. It's maybe like when she say like how it is in her mind. So in my mind, she's using the David shield.
If there's one of me going around with Hitler, I'd rather Daniel's than the Hitler one.
Well, it's more like
all of it is flattering.
It's more like a little caricature to represent like a story. I mean,
how I see myself.
Oh, I mean, that would make for a really great story. Like if you imagined a tiny little cartoon girl in Israel. No. Slow down.
So I can't tell if I'm leading an army of Hamasniks or if I'm fighting an army of Hamasniks.
You're leading them. You're obviously leading them. They're in front of you.
No. She's not leading them. This is a shield.
Yeah.
She's defending them.
She's defending them, exactly.
She's defending the Jewish people.
She's using come on.
It's high art, Daniel. It's high art.
She's using Judaism as a shield. Okay, she's putting herself as a shield.
Okay, but
it's PTR is Buttercup defending Hamas. Is this real, Daniel?
Yeah, she's defending Hamas.
Defending, not fighting. She's a lover. She's a lover, not a fighter.
She's a defender. She's a defender of the.
There's like a sea now of parodies. I gotta say, like imitation's the best form of flattery. So.
And you know it, right? Exactly.
It's very bad. I'm becoming a narcissist because of you guys.
Press is better than no press.
Well, yeah, you're not handling the technology of this app very well.
Part of it is that you didn't use that your own face, so it made it kind of more like I wouldn't do it probably if it was your face. Like your real face, but
no, I don't mind it. I think it's cute. I think yours is my favorite, Daniel. Yours is my favorite.
Yeah, Daniel, that's very artistic.
You're very prickly.
Thank you.
Daniel's art is also layered.
No,
there's interpretation.
You're good. Wow, I didn't know you.
No, come on. I didn't. Come on. No, of course AI.
No, I don't know. You could be an artist in hiding.
AI.
But how did you?
But just so you know, like
hair right in the band, like.
I'm just gonna tell you like a hack, okay? Okay. You cannot tell him to put like a Hamas headband, okay?
Right.
I have to tell him a story that they wear that she's defending them and they're wearing a green headband, like the color of her eyes, and to put like a bit like of white Arabic gibberish on them.
you got it. I didn't even trick AI that way.
Did you upload your PTR? Like, how did you get that face?
I'll tell you, the effort you put into the AI generation of the image really shines through.
Exactly. You see in my reference.
I'm gonna try to do it because I asked ChatGPT to generate an image of Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls with a star of David Shield with an IDF behind him.
Right.
It said I can't help doing that.
No, he would have to have a sword. He'd have to have a sword to complete the narrative.
I'm gonna try to create a narrative and get that image.
Yeah. She's a superhero.
Like, he can throw like a Jewish star, like a
too old.
A 6-pointed star.
Exactly.
No, because it wasn't like anything bad. She's like, she's defending them. She's a superhero. She has a shield, They
this parody totally works, and it'll explain the whole conflict.
Okay, I want to hear from Beatrice, because Beatrice is from Amir's room. I know her from there.
What about Devin? You brought him up first.
I don't know. I'll hear from Devin after, but Beatrice...
And Adam is working on the project.
I'm interested in Beatrice, because you guys...
I know
the premise here is that me having this, like... nuanced view where I'm critical of Israel, but I also have deep affection for my Jewish people. They're saying it's bad for the overall. It's worse for the Jewish people than what the propagandists in Bibi Kapara's room do, where they just lie and deny and sugarcoat and fetishize Israel all day. So I'm curious, as an outsider who spends a lot of time in Amir's room, do you feel like what I'm doing is how does it shape the way you see Jewish people, Israel, the Jewish state? Beatrix, I'm curious of your view.
So, I think you remember Buttercup. They were kind of like attacking you and calling you a Zionist, and I stood up for you and said, like, look, she might not understand certain things about Islam. I don't get to really clarify my views a lot either. Like, the thing is, you don't even have to like Muslims, Buttercup. Like, you don't even have to really even like the Palestinians. You know,
I do. I have no problem.
I know. I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't. But I'm saying the way that they were kind of attacking you, because I told them, I was like, look, she was raised Jewish. She's not raised a Muslim. Why are you guys expecting her to know anything about Islam? When I was growing up, I didn't know anything about Islam. You know, like it's not really relevant to what we're talking about. And I know that you're older than me. You have a lot more experience than I do. You have a lot more knowledge than I do. You really don't need me to defend you. But the reason why I did is because, first off, you have a stronger voice than I do because you are Jewish, and you can, because, like, look, my parents are Zionists. My parents are never going to listen to me because they don't see me as one of them. But the thing is, I don't want to see radicalism on either side. I don't like when people talk crap about Jews and say they're evil and they're this and they're that. And it's actually frustrating getting called anti-Semitic because I do like Jewish people and I don't want Jewish people to be attacked. I don't want anybody to go on a subway and attack a Jewish woman and her kids or a man, or, you know what I'm saying? I've never felt that way about Jewish people, and I don't want to see them attacked, and I don't want to see them ostracized. And so I don't want radicalism on either side. And I think that's something that's really important about you, because it almost seems like you get attacked from both sides. And it's kind of just like, well, you should be able to speak freely without being ostracized, because it's
just for having a nuanced view.
Yeah, it's way more dangerous. And it's not like we agree on everything.
And who's more credible? Like, who sounds more credible, me or Bibi Kapara, who's just like, wow, they invented cherry tomatoes and they have the most moral in the world.
Like, who sounds more credible? And you're using the word nuance, which I find very interesting. Nuance is actually
different point of view. It's not credible.
Yeah, exactly. Not nuance also. Nuance is more like actually it's the opposite of nuanced a bit.
I'm critical of Israeli leadership and Palestinian leadership. I think both of them failed their people. What do you mean? That's nuanced. That's right in the middle.
I think that you are coming with a specific agenda that is not about.
I think both people deserve. How is that attacking anyone? I'm defending both people.
But it's not nuanced, okay? It's just your view. All right, nuanced is a word that should be. Women should not be allowed to use the word nuanced anymore. It should be illegal. No women use
I think you are more credible because, given your position, you're not biased. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a bias. You're bringing into consideration perspectives from both sides, so you will always be more credible.
I'm also coming from a humanist perspective instead of a tribal perspective, which other people tend to come from.
And that's one of the things why Rebecca thinks that she has a superior point of view. Humanistic, both sides. I don't know if she was born Muslim, so.
I'm for the people against governments. I hate power. Power needs to be able to account, Daniel.
Why do you know? This is not what's different. None of this is what really differentiates us from us. Okay, I think actually we can even argue the opposite. This is not the thing that
is a dangerous thing. It's easy to quote it.
It's the thing you gaslight everyone that argues with you.
But we agree with you. I mean,
Daniel, you agree with me. That's not what Bibi Kapara thinks.
No.
You agree.
No. I never had a discussion about it. But also, power corrupts is also not a nuanced point of view. And I don't think it's such a unique. And also,
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
You choose everyone of arguing against platitudes.
children and like innocent civilians should die is also like not nuanced and
Thank you, Daniel.
not so unique to you.
Same,
And
we
not so
agree.
unique to you.
Thank you.
No, we all agree to
So
this.
why are you calling me a radical?
Why? Because this is not your point of view. This is not what
Maybe
differentiates
you're
you.
not presenting the things people consider radical about your views right now.
This is not what is radical.
And more importantly, I think everyone's opinion is unique. That's why it's an opinion, it's not fact. But
Mine isn't.
yeah, I know, exactly. But to say that it almost comes across as you're superior to Bibi, and the reality is, no, you're not.
No, that's not. Yaakov, he claims I'm bad for. I'm a threat to the Jewish people and their
And
safety.
you're saying he's worse. Like literally, you're
Right. So that's what the showdown is. Who's worse?
But what if you guys are both wrong about that? And it's
Amos
not
and Ellie
that
thinks
big a
that
deal?
think he's worse.
I agree. We're both wrong.
The BB is definitely.
I receive a lot more
I
abuse
agree
than
with
BB.
everybody.
I'm abused constantly on this app.
okay.
I'm threatened by the pro-Israel. They threaten to dox me. They threaten to
Oh, maybe they don't like you.
drown me.
Why don't you zoom out and think about Israel as part of a system, an American system of how the world works, and ask yourself what's good for America, Buttercup.
Right.
Ask yourself.
So it's
So,
an extension
Jason,
of
I
America.
assume you think that Israel's good for America overall.
Israel is good for America, yeah. And I hope someday Saudi Arabia and Egypt will be good for America too, and Qatar, with Israel's help.
So I think America has certain laws about how its bombs are used, and I think Israel has violated those standards over and over and over again. And we have an obligation to do something about it because that's what our laws dictate, right? We
All
have to
right,
hold
so
ourselves
let's
to
do
certain
that.
standards.
Who said this is a violation?
What does that have to do with? Whoa! So what does that have to do with?
No, they use the usage of 3,000
Right,
pound
so
bombs
what?
in densely populated area is a violation of our
I
standards.
agree. Wonderful. So what? Therefore what?
Wait, you agreed, Yaakov? So as Americans,
I'm agreeing with you. Therefore
No,
what?
it's gross. The Leahy laws refer to gross violations of human rights.
dropping a 3,000 pound bomb in a densely populated
There's no
area is a
3,000 pound
gross
bomb.
violation of
There's
human
2,000.
rights.
The maximum is
There was no
3,000.
military justification for it.
How do you know?
Okay.
Are you
Wait.
intentional?
How do you know?
Down.
3,000
Can I
pound
just-
bombs wipe out a whole block.
Okay. Wonderful.
Maybe that,
Hey.
maybe those are military
They
necessity.
used a bomb and they broke a regulation. That's what you're saying? They used a bomb, we sold
They
them, and they
constantly
didn't
break
use.
regulations with our bombs.
Okay,
And that's
fine,
all
fine. They
us.
constantly. That's wonderful. They
That's my
constantly
tax
break
dollars.
regulations.
Of course I should care.
That feels like a problem that we Americans should leverage in diplomatic channels. No.
Yes. And we're trying.
So what does that have to do
But
with
whenever
whether or
it
not?
happens, the Israelis
Oh,
and
hey, slow down. What does that have to do with the question we were discussing? Is Israel good for America?
Israel's not good for America if it's
Why
using
not?
our bombs to commit war crimes.
Who cares? We'll just leverage that in diplomacy, as you just said.
Well, no.
I'm saying you would prefer a greater Syria, perhaps a larger Egypt, perhaps Jordan. Is that who we should interact with?
Buttercup, one thing they're asking you to do is consider the alternative. The alternative is that Israel, the choices are not Israel is perfectly nice or Israel does bad things. The alternatives include things like Israel loses and the other forces in that region are more powerful and they're worse for America than Israel, okay? But I also think that's a very big if. Israel is using American weaponry to commit war crimes. The standard that people use when they ascribe war crimes to Israel is very loose and imperfect. And there are a lot of details there. And I don't think what you've said,
Jason, you
That
think Israel
does
has
not
committed
add
no
up.
war crimes? Is that what you're suggesting?
what you've described in this case does not add up to a war crime, okay? Using
Okay.
a heavy
Your legal
bomb
opinion.
to destroy a building is not illegal.
No, numerous dumb bombs.
Using
3,000
numerous
pound bombs.
heavy bombs to destroy a building is not illegal.
They've dropped more bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's
Yes,
not a
but
small.
the Israelis
Okay,
On a
how
densely
many
populated
people-
area of mostly
Mixed
kids.
in their war.
hold on. There are real facts to talk about here. Buttercup, how many people died when that bomb was dropped?
I don't remember. I don't know.
It's like 100,000 people, okay? So this is kind of a clue that what Israel is doing is a lot more surgical and precise
Oh my
and
God.
measured than carpet bombing.
That was
So you
one
want
bomb. You're
anti-Semitic
getting the
withholding
fire
bombs.
bombings
Then
before that.
destroying city. Well, firebombings also
Okay,
killed hundreds
Jason,
of thousands of people.
Jason, it seems like you've been following the conflict a long time. As you know, whenever there's a war, Israel tends, as a matter of policy, they tend to react emotionally to every provocation, and they overreact. And so the only thing that restrains them at the end, the only thing that curbs the war at the end, is pressure from Western powers, right? Historically, it's always been America that restrains Israel. And they say no more, and they say use restraint, otherwise Israel doesn't use restraint, right? And so really, without an American government that restrains Israel, things are going to be excessive, and things are gonna provide a huge liability for both America and for Israel, because we don't have the normal checks and balances, which is the U.S. in its ear saying time to use restraint, time to wrap things up, time to stop. And so this is the biggest danger for both our country and their country.
No, Buttercup. I would say that the biggest danger is America telling Israel to stop.
Israel has always told Israel to stop. Every war is stopped because America is in its ear.
America needs to stop doing it.
America needs to use its leverage to control and out of control.
I'm going to explain why, Buttercup, and you need to listen to why, okay? Because if you don't actually defeat the enemies, there is not peace.
The Israeli military establishment thinks the enemy's been defeated. They've accomplished everything they can accomplish, and they're just killing more of their own soldiers now.
It makes no sense for, ending or winning wars is not a decision.
Numerous top Israeli generals disagree with you, Jason.
It does not matter. That is not a decision that they get to make in any country, because they are subject to civilian authority, and military activity is an extension of political activity by other means. Okay, that's the Congressman rule. And in America also, they didn't want to drop the atomic bomb. In America, we didn't want to go for total victory in the Second World War. That was a political direction and requirement. And the reason generals don't make those decisions is because ultimately these things have to be decided on what's good for the country by civilian authorities, not by military authorities who are kind of technician. Okay, so they're allowed to have their own opinion. That doesn't make it right, and you can't quote it like it's the correct one, and the civilian authority's opinion is the wrong one. There's a reason that the civilian authorities are the leaders, and the military authorities are not. And that's why I think that we have made a big mistake preventing Israel being able to pursue these conflicts to the end and actually achieve victory over their enemies, total victory, and force them to surrender. That's the only way that the war could have ended.
Jason, I want to address something you said about civilians. You know, the civilians in Israel feel that the current government is not representing them, and that the current leadership is deeply compromised by factions in its government.
Some do and some don't.
Over the vast majority, according to surveys.
No.
Okay,
Randy, let me post a survey in the chat.
You are a representative of RSV that is not
but it doesn't matter if you're right or not about that. That has nothing to do with the prosecution of the war in an informed way. Civilian authorities, not civilians generally, are the ones who have access to all the intelligence and information from the military they need, and B, they're the ones who are entrusted with the interests of the civilian society, who are civilians, who are part of the civilian society and know what's going on there, which the generals don't, by and large. And that's why they make this decision in times of war. And in times of war, yes, you have this great, I guess you could say, restriction or narrowing of people's freedom and autonomy or their ability to influence outcomes for the country. But that's true in every country, and it's because war is extremely dangerous. And what I disagree with you fundamentally about, Buttercup, is that the U.S. should not be telling Israel to knock off their war and not achieve total victory. And we have done it over and over again.
So total victory is a vague, not quantifiable goal, and the purpose of it is to be a foil for Netanyahu so that he can continue the war for his own political interests.
No, it is not. It is not.
That's what the Israeli people think. It's not me, Jason. You should talk to some Israelis. That's what they're talking about.
I'm talking about something that
it's the removal of Hamas. That is
Hamas has already been completely
No, it is not removed.
It is very simple
They're still
what total
fighting.
They've offered to
victory
step
is.
down. That's the same thing.
It's very
They've
simple.
already
No,
offered to step down.
on their terms. On their terms. Oh, no, you're misrepresenting
You're
because
allowed-
you're being
you're
intellectually
That's called surrender, silly.
You're
On their terms
charged,
means they
Buttercup,
surrender.
about total
It's not
victory.
going to happen the first day. They
It
want to
is-
fuck
So
around.
this is when we say
You're
total
charged.
victory, it's so vague.
This is tequila.
No, it's not.
This is
It's not
tequila.
vague. It's been
not vague.
They have
Give back
offered to
the
step down, and
multiple
yet
times.
Bibi Netanyahu uses this total victory
Yes,
phrase as a
total
foil so
victory.
that he doesn't have to end the
No,
war.
he doesn't. He's referencing
We have
the
objectives.
same
No,
framework.
victory is a
The,
legitimate
the hard objective is to destroy Hamas and to free the hostages. He's
That's right.
neither
referencing the
because
same
of his total
framework.
victory
so they can
slogan.
He's
surrender.
referencing the
He uses
same
it as a
framework.
foil. Anything
that
they
the
offer
US
is not
used.
total victory in his book. He
Yeah,
finds a new goalpost.
Unconditional surrender is total victory, and they
Yeah,
need to
just
offer
show
that.
up with all your weapons and say sorry.
Conditional surrender is a way to ensure the war continues forever. You sound just like
No,
Netanyahu.
it is how the war ends.
Most trading with hostages, we need unconditional.
Unconditional surrender means that Hamas has no conditions and surrenders.
I'm not the only one who wants that.
He's talking.
This is not the only way to end the
That is
war,
how
correct?
World War II ended.
That's not pragmatic,
That is
Jason.
the
That's not
only
realistic.
way.
We need to be realistic. to make our lives.
Unrealistic.
Buttercup, I'm trying to tell you that it's not
It's a
a
La La Land
realistic option.
Well, I'll
Try to seize
It's like any enemy just gonna be like, no conditions, here's my gun, no
They will
business.
not.
Who does that?
That is
No
not.
enemy does that.
No, that's not true. That's literally what Japan
That's not what, that's not even what Israel's government is demanding, Jason. You're really out of touch. Israeli government's not demanding unconditional surrender, okay?
Yes,
Jason,
they
that's
are.
right.
reasonable war goal.
Hand in your weapons.
That's not the war goal,
Get out.
Philly. That's not what the
War
Israeli
goal
government
is
is
the
demanding.
end of Hamas,
Well, if he's
destruction of
talking
Hamas,
about-
and return of the
If
hostages.
he's
Very
talking
clear.
about total
Yeah, but
victory,
Jason says
Buttercup,
they
that's what he's
unconditional
talking about.
surrender is not what the Israeli government is
That's what
demanding.
total victory
That would be
is.
giving over your
Right,
weapons and
Jason,
dismantling
exactly. You're
Hamas.
asking
Yes.
for something unrealistic so that the war never ends.
But
Exactly.
that
what I'm talking about.
Surrendering,
It's not
destroying,
foil.
dismantling,
Buttercup,
removing Hamas.
guys, be quiet for a second. Buttercup, you keep calling it unrealistic, but it's not unrealistic. It is the realistic way to end conflicts of this nature.
Yeah.
And that's how they have
Fighting.
ended. Stop for a second. That is how they have ended in the past. So why are you calling it unrealistic? It's how World War II ended. Both Germany and Japan unconditionally surrendered. So what is so unrealistic about this, Buttercup?
So I think I was pretty clear. The Israeli government has never said that unconditional surrender is one of their requirements to end the war into a hostage deal. This is something you made up, Jason. And when Netanyahu talks about total victory, that's not what total victory is. Total victory is
Guys, you guys are falling apart here.
Total victory is
You're
not
falling
defined.
apart here.
Buttercup, surrender is always an option. It's war. It's always. We don't need to say it. Of course, it's an option. We don't need to like.
Jason says
What
it's
do you
the
mean,
only
Buttercup?
option.
If they
No, I did not say it's the only option.
today,
Okay, let's
to end it today.
let's
Otherwise,
walk back
we
a
continue to
second.
do it with the
I did
force.
not
He
say
says that's what
it is-
total victory that
I did
Netanyahu
not
talks
say-
about means.
I did not say it is the only
That's how
option.
you define
You
total
said-
victory.
Please stop. You said total victory is vague. I said no, it's not. There is a clear story for that. Okay, unconditional surrender is total victory. Now the other way,
Daniel will
of
tell
course,
you
is
it's
you just.
unrealistic. So if that's your goal, then you're
But
trying
that's
to
the thing
extend the
I'm
war.
asking you about. That's the thing I'm asking about.
But every
What
top
makes you
Israeli
say-
official and resident disagrees with you and thinks that's
What makes
unrealistic.
you
So when
think-
Netanyahu
what-
says that, he wants to extend the war.
Well, but you're not really
It's a
answering my
handy foil
question.
for him.
You're not really answering my question. What makes you think it is unrealistic?
Ask Daniel. Daniel will explain to you why.
No, I'm asking
not a
you,
realistic,
Buttercup. I'm
goal of
asking
the
you,
war.
Buttercup. Why? What makes
I'm
you
not
think
Israeli.
it is
Daniel's
unrealistic?
Israeli. He'll explain to you why that's a dumb
Well,
fucking thing.
Buttercup, but you told it to me. You said
Because I'm representing what Daniel said to me, okay? And he's Israeli and he knows what the discourse
so.
is. And you
So
clearly
someone
don't.
told you. Someone you
It sounds like
trust
you don't follow the
said.
discourse in Israel, honestly. so
Someone
I
you
don't know how it's
trust. Yeah, someone you trust said that.
No, it's because I follow news in Israel in Hebrew, so I know what's happening. No
Okay.
one is demanding that
Well,
except you, just Jason from
But, well,
Pennsylvania or wherever you're from.
You're saying it's
Jason from
unrealistic.
Pennsylvania is fucking irrelevant, okay?
I
Back
don't
up.
understand what is unrealistic about unconditional
That's
surrender.
never
total
been a
victory.
demand of the Israeli government, not once. And if you followed
What's
the
unrealistic
discourse
about
in
total
Israel, you
victory?
would know that,
What's
Jason.
unreal? It has nothing to do with whether it's realistic or not.
No one's made that demand except for you.
You said it's unrealistic.
That's
What's
not how wars
unrealistic
end in
about
Israel.
it?
You haven't been following the conflict. Because
That
that's
wars
what
don't
wars
end in Israel because the U.S. tells Israel to accept ceasefires. That's why they
Israel
don't
has
end.
put pressure on it, and that's how every war has ended, by the way.
Which the U.S. needs to stop doing. That's what we're disagreeing about.
Jason, you also completely misrepresented Netanyahu's position, so I don't think you can have an informed conversation anymore. Because you literally don't understand what's at stake.
You are just trying to shut me
fundamentally
down
don't understand
because I
what's at
disagree
stake.
with you. Because I disagree with you, all right?
Because you're uninformed. You don't follow discourse.
I think I don't
Well, no,
think
Buttercup,
you're
like,
following
my
the
bigger
discourse
question
about
is-
war, Buttercup.
It seems like you
you're
definitely
actually
follow
attending to how
the
war.
politics of Israel as it develops. But the question is, do you trust the Israeli democratic system to determine its own leaders and direction for its war from its civilian leaders?
Ask that again.
Do you trust Israel to follow through on their democratic constitutional plan?
Democratic, which one? Their goal is to.
The one that forms the Knesset.
Yeah, of course.
So, do you believe that they are having your thoughts expressed, to each other in the way that matters, and like their discourse is covering that?
Yes.
So then you would say it is important to preserve their ability to safely and freely discuss their views openly and express their political
100%.
opinions.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why that's where it gets confusing, because you express their most hostile political views, the ones, and you express them in opposition to the state from outside of the state, when at the same time you're obviously grateful for the state they have, which allows them to have their heated political discourse. Do you see my confusion?
You're talking about why the U.S. shouldn't pressure Israel one way or the other?
No.
Okay. So how am I controlling the discourse? I was spaced out for a bit. What?
Yeah, phase out.
Do you want to repeat your question in a short version?
Right, that's a fair point. Shorter version of the question. It seems like you trust the Israeli democratic process, but at the same time encourage those that would remove that process.
Oh, you mean my idea for the binational state sometime in the future?
Sure, change the current political system and the current rights that the people have.
So I think a lot of Israelis, as you can see from the streets of Israel, don't think the current system is working from them, and they don't think it's sustainable.
Surely they can represent their own political views.
I know, and I allow them to, and I support them, and I think that's
what do you mean you allow them to?
I think it's beautiful. I love to watch it. I love to see it.
There's something strangely patronizing about your approach to their
Well, we're all watching this show, this bad horror movie, and I like what's happening on the ground in Israel.
A bad horror movie. Right? That's what I'm saying.
It moves me as a Jewish American to see them advocating for their democracy and for the health of their democracy and their state. That is beautiful to me as someone who's covered politics for many years and has written about political corruption for many years. I think there's nothing more beautiful than someone puncturing political corruption in the way Haaretz does and the way the protesters do and the way human rights organizations do. I think that's moving. It moves me to tears. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's what I love about Israel, okay? That they have a democracy. There is a fragile, but democracy is still there, and the people there are speaking up. That's what's beautiful about Israel.
And you deem it as failing.
What? The state?
The democracy, yes.
The current structures in place are not serving the people well now. Because now we have extreme political corruption on top, and we have a prime minister running a war that's deeply, deeply compromised from the far-right extremist factions of his government, because they extort him every time there's a chance to rescue the hostages, which defeats the morale of the Israeli people, the safety of the Israeli people, the confidence in their government. This is not serving Israeli democracy, and if you understood how governments work, you would get that.
I absolutely understand how governments work, but that's why I keep questioning. Surely you concede all of the angles you've looked at the conflict, the Israelis are looking at as well, correct?
100%. I'm representing discourse in the Israeli public.
Right, but shouldn't they be having that
They are having
discourse
that
amongst
discourse.
each other?
They're literally having it.
Why is that discourse relevant outside of Israel?
Why is anything? For Americans in particular, we supply bombs for this war, and so we are responsible for how they're used. And my tax dollars pay for those bombs, and I have a say. But number two, for me, as a Jewish person, as a Jewish American, which you are too, our identities, to be Jewish in America, our identities, like it or not, whether it's positive or negative, have over the years become enmeshed with the Israeli state's well-being and what the Israeli state stands for. So it's hard not to have an emotional response to what we see happening there. When our people die en masse, it affects us, right? We feel it, even if we're not there. Well, I do. I don't know about you. And so if I think the state is causing the mass death of my people, yeah, that's really emotional for me. And I also have family there, by the way. So my family is personally affected.
So if I could read,
listen, my family lives in the South. If my sister's kids get kidnapped, now we have a government that will let them die. Okay, this is not a country that I want my sister to live in, and she's stuck there. She's married to an Israeli. Her kids speak Hebrew, and this is the predicament she finds herself in. For her loyalty to the country, this is how they repay her. That if her kids get kidnapped, they say, let the hostages drop dead. We'll just bomb the negotiators. That's the country she lives in now. What does that do for the Israeli morale? What kind of democracy? What kind of Jewish refuge treats its citizens that way?
Okay, so if I understand, you have two basic reasons. One, more emotional, that you have family there and you're concerned about the direction of the guidance of the state of Israel. And two, you're an American and your political power and voice is directed towards American action, which includes weapons which are utilized in Israel. So you're activating your political voice in parroting political discourse from the state of Israel, which is protected by its constitution and laws. Correct?
Sure.
Just seems like you should primarily protect the constitution, nation, and laws more than anything. I would think.
Israel, it's not my job to protect it. I just have strong opinions about the way Israel's handling this war, given that its leadership is deeply compromised. Or are you concerned that its leadership is compromised?
As an American citizen who has concerns about the actions of Israel abroad, and as a Jew that lives in America, would you want to encourage, let's say you were in the CIA, right? Would you want a regime shift in Israel under your managing?
No one's calling for an immediate. Listen, the Israeli people are fighting for new leadership. They're fighting for
just yes or no.
It's not my job to overthrow the government.
I know, but I'm saying if I gave you the job, I said you're CIA director.
I don't have the power
You've got ties in Syria,
not even my own and not Israel's. I don't have power to overthrow any governments.
I know, but listen, you just said you have an opinion. You're voicing your political power right now as an American to prevent the sale of weapons to be used in an illegal genocide.
And prevent my nephews and nieces from being kidnapped and left in captivity.
What?
And I also believe in general in the idea of a Jewish refuge, a state that's sustainable that doesn't result in bloodbath every couple years. That's what I believe. That's my deeply held belief.
That's wonderful. The CIA says that stuff all the time before they kill somebody.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
I'm not CIA. That's what I gave you. I gave the CIA powers to topple other
I said we need a new model that's sustainable.
Remember, Iraq and Saddam Hussein?
I'm advocating for a model that is more sustainable, and I think if you love Israel and you love its people, you should also advocate for that.
Just to be clear, the model you're advocating, which is more sustainable, involves the dismantling of the current functional model.
I don't think it's functional. October 7th is not functional. It's not okay.
Okay, October 7th was not functional, sure, but you're saying the management of the war...
No, it's been escalatory violence for 70 years. It's not working, dude. It's not working.
The entire state has failed.
We need a new state that doesn't have to be completely new.
What guarantees your new state won't in 70 years of war? How will your state solve?
Just one question. What is the metric for you saying that they failed or success? What is the metric that you're using?
Whether she's happy or not.
No,
Look at that.
My family lives in the South, okay? My family experiences sirens constantly. That's not sustainable.
Buttercup doesn't feel comfortable.
It's not sustainable for my sister and her kids and their bunny rabbit to constantly be under threat of
Buttercup. So, so the United States is also not sustainable, right? People are under threat of gun violence.
Yeah, that's not sustainable either. We need to redo our laws, 100%.
Which country is sustainable in your eyes? And then the ones that you just don't know anything about?
Well, I think both of Israel and America had democracies that turned out to be way more fragile than we thought.
Which are sustainable?
I'm talking to you about democracy.
Which democracy?
Okay, so in Scandinavia we have some good models, but I'm not going to list all the good countries versus the bad countries. Unfortunately, in today's era, a lot of democracies have been hijacked.
I understand. So Scandinavia is the model, right?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to dissect different government forms. There's pros and cons to each form.
I understand. It's I want to understand what forces are working on Scandinavia. So
well, Daniel,
let's actually talk about America versus Israel. America has a constitution.
Are you good with the German model or the British?
Scandinavia, for example, you were talking about the government of Scandinavia. Okay, there's the government. What other forces impact
that's not one country, though. There's different countries within it.
Yeah, but the government. Okay, so
you want to pick a democracy to dissect Buttercup?
Yeah, choose a democracy that you want to compare.
Germany very well.
Actually, I want to. Sorry, I want to walk that back. I want to compare it to American because American's a little bit more robust as a democracy than Israel is. So
no,
but
you also said America is not sustainable. So
it is sliding into an unsustainable thing because we have someone who's
is sustainable.
So I think the U.S. so far is holding up the democracy because there are certain protections.
But we want
our courts shut down undemocratic things.
Our state is not sustainable.
Your courts are being weakened. Our courts still are standing up.
But I want to go learn from those who did it. Okay, I want to learn what they did.
We did do it. I take that back. America has courts are strong enough to resist the worst impulses of our
fascist. People are dying there on the streets. People are being shot just for speaking. It's unsustainable. I would be afraid to just walk in some areas in the United States. Like I see those videos of people drugged on the streets.
Right.
I see the crimes, the gangs, you know how many school shootings there are? We don't have that shit.
You don't have anything wrong about the world. It's because of
okay, well then that's a failure as a
government. Okay, so exactly like America without the gun protection.
You gotta rewrite the Constitution, Buttercup, like you said.
Compare to Israel without the conflict.
You can't just erase the conflict. It's foundational to its founding.
You cannot just erase we have a constitution and then let's just ignore the constitution.
Yeah, we need to
Buttercup wants to ignore your constitution. She doesn't care.
Israel doesn't have a constitution, silly.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. They don't have a constitution.
You said it's something powerful about you. Okay. So Second Amendment, it has its price, and you have things that doesn't happen nowhere in the world, and it's not sustainable. You send your kid, you go to fucking a rally, and you speak in front of thousands in a university, and you get shot. It's insane. People are getting just shot in the where they
all because of a stupid constitution we won't get rid of.
Yes, exactly. And it's your government, the corrupt governments that are just benefiting out of this.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And military and army and guns and manufacturing and a lot of money. And so let's stop now talk shit about America.
You're right. You're right. Actually, I want to concede a point. Let me concede a point.
Amazing. So where are we comparing us to?
So I think you're right.
Hello?
This era has taught us a lot about how fragile democracy and how it doesn't hold. It can't stand up to fascists and dictators.
Right.
But you know what? We're learning from it, and that doesn't mean we shouldn't be in the streets demanding that the people's interests are represented above these selfish, fascistic.
Saying that the system is not the democracy.
It's not holding up, but we need to still fight. We need to use whatever things we have. Which
yes, but
do you have a functional system we can compare it to?
Yeah, it's like crying, wah. It's not not really helpful. It's actually making things
That's what
worse.
democracy is.
Listen, in her opinion, America has
free
failed.
speech is key to that,
Very
Daniel. It's all we
successful,
have.
functional
All
democracy.
right, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, protesting is all we have. It's all we have.
Yes, it's bitching. Do you have a solution? Do you have a better proposal? Do you have like something that I asked you for a country that you think the model? Give me a model, like an example model that we will see that it works there. You say that this is failing, this is not sustainable. I want to see according to your, because if you're saying that Israel is not sustainable, but also everybody else, that is like, it's like this is what we told you about, like showing like half the truth. It's like showing something about Israel and painting something that's not.
Let me respond. So Daniel, to me, I think democracy is precious and it's something that we need to cherish and try to fight for. And in Israel and in the U.S., which I know most about, I'm not claiming to be a geopolitical world expert. I've written extensively about U.S. policy, so I know about our system. I know about Israel's system because I was born into a Jewish family that's obsessed with Israel, so I know a little bit about there, but not as much as you, Daniel. And I feel it's a real tragedy that these systems that have been built to protect everyone, to be democratic, to preserve human rights have been completely eroded in the last couple of years. And I'm sad that these strong men have taken over and are thwarting the will of the public and the people. I think we need to use whatever institutions we have that are designed to hold power accountable and represent the people. And so that's why I see actually a parallel in the struggles in the U.S. and Israel, because my two countries that I identify with most and I know most about are falling apart. And for years and years and years, they protected minorities. They tried to at least aspire towards equal rights and certain values. And to see that eroding is just really heartbreaking.
So your problem with those democracies is that you didn't win the elections. Your side didn't win the elections.
No,
the other
these
side,
are corrupted.
that's a different point.
That's not true. I criticize Democrats all the time. I criticize Democrats too.
Everybody's corrupt. Okay.
No, I know in Israel you don't have corruption laws, but in America we do have very strict.
What do you mean we don't have corruption?
I think this is normal for politicians to be corrupt.
What is Israel? What is Bibi now accused of?
Corruption, but you guys think it's a joke.
Hold on. You said like 5 seconds ago, you guys don't have corruption laws in Israel.
You're claiming everyone's corrupt. Not in America. We don't believe in corrupt politicians. We prosecute them. We try to hold them to account. We don't have conflict of interest laws.
You are very intense, and it's really hard to have a conversation. No, words matter, and I keep pointing it out to you.
I'm sorry. I'm reflecting what you said, which is who gives a shit.
No, you said in Israel
you said who gives a shit. Listen, I understand you have laws, but you guys think it's a joke. But you think it's a joke, Daniel, right? You don't care about it.
I will not let it go because I understand that you
yes, I know you have trials. I know there's anti-corruption laws, but you're undermining your own checks and balance. You're right. You're right. You do have corruption laws, but you, Daniel, don't give a shit about them.
The corruption laws and their persecution is not.
And your government is fighting to dismantle them.
Hold on, you might be surprised, okay? But it doesn't really work whether Daniel agrees or not, and you actually don't know what I agree with or not. Okay? I actually do think that corruption laws are very important. That he is now on trial for corruption. That is the reality on the ground. While you say, and you come on stage here and say, Daniel, which never said it, doesn't think is laughing about it, whatever that means, that overrules the fact that there's actually proceedings.
You're right. You're correct.
The Prime Minister will go 4 times a week to trial on corruption. Boo-hoo what? I'm talking about you, Baraka. The discussion that I'm having is
correct, and I disagree with that. I think it's not to be that way.
No, I didn't say any politicians. I said they're all corrupt, okay? Meaning like both Republicans and